throne. By your life televised, we're breaking every bone. Adrenaline surges, brace on the fall. Hitting it with HardWire. Hear the engine scream. Living fast and reckless, this is our metal dream. Riding hard, never slowing. In the spotlight we shine. A biker's brutal journey. This life is ours divine. With HardWire, the crowd screams our name. Chasing down the shadows, we're addicted to the fame. Chains rattling loud, the brotherhood's alive. Every episode turns up, we're here to survive. From dusk till dawn, we're the kingdom is through. Hitting it with HardWire. Hear the engine scream. Living fast and reckless, this is our metal dream. Riding hard, never slowing. In the spotlight we shine. A biker's brutal journey. This life is ours divine. On the edge of chaos, we embrace the feel. Hitting it with HardWire. We'll always be here.
Hey, welcome to Hittin It with HardWire. For some reason, I'm having some more technical difficulties. Who'd have thought it? Who'd have thought I'd have technical difficulties? Well, thanks for coming. I got, had some storms earlier. They was calling for them to be way worse than what they was. But it was coming across everywhere with storms, blah, blah, blah. So, around here, because this house is an old house that has old wiring I have to go through and unplug everything that I'm worried about, and don't have most of them don't have grounds, so I can't. Surge protectors don't help. For some reason my audio's not working right in my headphones. I hope you can hear me okay. I couldn't hear my intro at all. I don't know why. Happy National Panda Day. Where the fuck that is. Oh, little fuzzy things. What's up, Steve? And Codes stopped in, and Pitbull's here, and Redneck Side. See, Dean's here. Howdy, Dean. Frank. Sorry I had to bump the show till later. Yep. I don't really have any specific topic today. What's going on in the world? Let's see. The world is going fucking crazy. Nothing new there. I don't like that. The world's gone crazy. See, we got these lower circuit court judges that keep trying to block everything Trump does, which is kind of insane if you ask me. That's my opinion of that. I can hear myself in the headphones, but for some reason I can't. If I try playing a YouTube video or like the intro had no sound. I don't have no idea why it would be like that. My computer is set up correctly, unless we had some kind of Windows update that screwed everything up as usual. See if I can bring up my. And bear with me, if I end up disappearing, it'll mean I got the screen of death going on. have to reboot my computer again. So how is everybody? Everybody doing good? Ah, I see something that changed. Go back a screen. You hear me all right still? You hear this?
Shit.
Shit. If you fart in the basement, you can hear it. Or remind me not to fart then. I got news this week. Apparently, my son wants to move to Japan. What kind of crazy shit is that? Why in the freaking hell would anybody want to move to Japan? Then you're on a little island, and if World War III breaks out, you're going to be fairly easily bombed over there.
Shocking.
Hey, now I can hear stuff. Yeah. I installed NVIDIA Broadcast to see if it was worth a shit. And not really. Not really. Not really worth too much. Yeah, I don't know what the hell he's thinking, wanting to go to Japan, but whatever. I told him he had to come home and visit at least one time before he took off to go to live in Japan. Oh man, I gotta uninstall that. I wonder if it'll screw anything up if I try to uninstall it while I'm on the air here. Want to maybe we'll just disable this one. The new one that for some reason shouldn't be on here. I think I disabled it, so that shouldn't happen again. Oh, what a day. I ran outside and I changed the oil on my bike, so now I'll be ready to ride. I felt bad because everybody else was riding, and I'm like, dude, I haven't done the maintenance on my bike yet. I got to change the oil. I change the oil every season, and I hadn't gotten it changed yet. Well, I got it changed today. I have one of them replaceable oil filters, and the oil filter gasket's all messed up, so I just said screw it and went down and bought a filter. Like, I just wanted to filter my oil, man. You know? Them replaceable or reusable oil filters for a motorcycle, they allow more flow through, so you can get like better oil pressures and whatnot, but they also don't filter as well. They don't filter all that well. So, but I change my oil every season regardless of how many miles is on my bike. Yeah, I know. You guys don't have riding seasons up there or down there. I mean, we got riding season here, unfortunately. One of the reasons me and the old lady wants to move south, but I have to have a job set up first before I can just up and move down there. If somebody on my channel is a supervisor or a plant manager or anything like that, I'd be a great employee. Hook me up. Get me a job down south. Dean, I only use AMSOIL. I am an AMSOIL person. I've seen a lot of tests done on a lot of different types of oil, and AMSOIL puts all the other oils back on the shelf as far as how well it protects and lubricates your engine. I only get AMSOIL. And I got a brother in the club that is an AMSOIL dealer. So I just talk to him and say, hook me up, man. Got to try to change my oil. I didn't change my old lady's oil because I got to tear her rocker cover gaskets off and change the rocker cover gaskets on her Sporty, which I hear is a really common problem with Sporties. And I don't want to change the oil just yet. And she did not ride it very much last year when we bought it. I changed it when we first got it, and she did not ride it hardly at all. Rode it a little bit. So I just don't see the point in changing her oil. Yeah. That's funny, though, because my old lady loves Rams, and I told her Rams are junk. She's, no, those are the best. No. Avoid the Dodges, man. They got nothing. They got a lot of electrical problems. They have for years. I had a Dodge Nitro, and it was a piece of shit. I can't believe it's another Sunday. You believe we've done 31 of these shows now, not including the specials. Just a regular Hitting It with Hardwires. We're up to 31 episodes now. Been doing this for a while. How many should I have to buy to try out before I get a good one? That's not a very right thing to say. I have honestly had all kinds of vehicles. I grew up a Ford person. My stepdad kind of raised me as a Ford guy, and I just kind of took that on. And I've had good luck with Fords. They are a pain in the ass sometimes to work on because they've decided to do weird engineering sometimes. Rather than that, I've had good luck with Fords. But I haven't had necessarily bad luck with anything except for Dodges. I had a Toyota once. I got a good deal on one. A friend was selling, and I bought it. That's back when you used to have to get out and lock the hubs in. It was a four-wheel drive little Toyota Ford, kind of like the one that was in Back to the Future that he got at the end of the movie or whatever. Back then you had to get out and lock the hubs. I got stuck in the mud and I forgot to lock the hubs. I'm like, why ain't I getting out? This is some bullshit. And then I remembered I didn't get out and lock the hubs in. The older Doge is great. Yeah, Elon Musk's Doge. There was an older version? Oh, you mean Dodge. You just misspelled it. Oh, man. Yeah. That's hefty. That is hefty. That's all right. Everybody knows. Everybody that has, we've seen you in here enough. We know you can't spell. You should just come down and hop on the show. What the fuck? And you ain't got to spell anything. Man, I looked on YouTube to see if I had any sound now. And I'll show you what I got stuck on my screen. It's kind of scary. And I want to get it. I'm gonna have to get it off my screen. That's scary. That's a scary face. Nice place to pause it though, isn't it? For those that don't know, that's Dr. Harley. Right there. That's the old Doc Harley there. And if you haven't subscribed to Doc Harley's channel, subscribe to his channel too. He's got a good channel over there. Glaire's mowing the lawn. That's not something I've had to worry about yet this year. Not something I look forward to now that we have a dog. My old lady is not allowed to drink anymore on Sundays. She's grounded from Sunday drinking. But that's what's stuck on my screen right now, so I think I'm going to close that because that's scary. The scary face. I'm going to, right after I'm on, I think Redneck Side's having a show, so I'm going to try to figure out how to forward you people to him. If I don't figure out how to do it, then go over and visit him when my show's over. I'll keep it to an hour tonight since this isn't my normal time slot. It's not mine. So I will hop over or try to forward you over when the show's over. When the show's over, we can all go over and harass Redneck Side Motorcycle Whips. I hope you're all having a good day. I know my day's been all right. I went out and changed my oil and I didn't break anything. That's good. That's unusual. I didn't really take the bike for a ride because I was wearing my they're like slippers, but they're not slippers. They're like dress shoes, but they're not dress shoes. But I didn't want to wear those around the block, and a pair of sweatpants because that's not appropriate riding gear. I got to at least put my jeans on. Jeans are part of the uniform. What's up, Frank? How you doing, man? Yeah. Beezer, you're down in Florida, ain't you? How's Florida right now? It's probably nice down there right now. I was there 2 years ago in October. I went down to Sarasota. It's really nice down there. A lot of really highfalutin fancy houses down there that I'll never see the inside of. I'll tell you that. I got to go. He took my friend that lives down there. I finally went and visited that I hadn't visited since high school. I hadn't seen him in years. Went down there and visited him, and he took me out in this cove down there. Well, we stopped at Siesta Key and walked down on the beach, and he showed me Siesta Key, and I seen the hippie drum circles down there. I really had to bite my tongue. I want to tell people get a job. I went to another chapter's party. What was it? Friday. And we went around to a couple different bars, and we went to this one bar. We walked past it. They had this big balloon over the doors, and not the bar we went in, the bar we walked past on the way to the bar we were going in. They had this big balloon frame over their door. And we see all these people standing outside, and wouldn't you know, it's a big rainbow, and they got a Canadian flag hanging up, and some kind of I think it was green and yellow with like a diamond in the middle. I don't know what that is. I assume it's Palestine or something screwy, you know. And we walked past it, and I had to bite my tongue because I wanted to say so bad, you know what country you're in, don't you? You know what country you're in? Man, fucking kids. I can't stand when people want to wave other countries' flags in our country. Man, that pisses me off. I'm going to try to get my dyno working. Well, I could probably put the pipes on it. Well, I got to put my grips and stuff back on because I put new bars on. I could probably put my grips and stuff back on, slap the exhaust on, start it, but I don't have any tins on it right now. I need to paint them. and I'm bound and determined I'm going to get it done at some point in time this year. Even if I have to spray paint the damn thing. But the problem is I got too much junk in here. But I found a new storage unit place where we parked our camper, and their rates are pretty reasonable, and it's not too far from here. So I might rent a storage unit just for a couple of months and park the bikes down there. That way I have room here to work on stuff, and then I'll get it painted and put back together. I know there's going to be some engineering challenges because when I was taking things apart, I had a mindset, an idea for how I wanted to do everything, but I had to get rid of some corroded plug adapters. So there's going to be some rewiring going on. I've gotten good at wiring because I've done a hell of a lot of it on bikes. Hence the name HardWire. I think that's why my sponsor gave me that name. But I'm not 100 hundo on that. I think that's why he gave me that name, because I was always doing the wiring on my bike, different things. And I don't cheap anything, man. If you're going to do wiring on a motorcycle that's going to be out in the elements, do not shortcut anything. Run all your take your gas tank off, run all your wires under your gas tank make sure you put them in the good loom, not the fucking cheap loom that has the slit in it. Don't use that garbage. Use the stuff they use for cars and stuff now, the finger trap style. Get yourself a big roll of that. Make sure you heat shrink your endings with the better heat shrink. It's got the glue inside. Don't shortcut anything when it comes to wiring on a motorcycle, or it will come back to haunt you. I guarantee. Like they say in Louisiana, I guarantee. I don't know. I've never been there, but I've seen enough TV shows of actors pretending to be from Louisiana. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wonder what old Mikey's doing. He's not in here. Hey, and we are pulling a camper down to Mikey's for the 4th of July weekend. I hope some of you can come. If not, me and Michael party by ourselves. But I'd really like to start a fund that we can all donate to for Mikey's 4th of July party. And if we get enough money, I want to rent one of them little, they do it up here. I assume they do it in Alabama too, where you can rent the big pull behind pig roasters. And I'd like to get a pig and have a pig roast that weekend if we can, if we raise enough money. Yeah, well, when I was younger, I was, and especially with vehicle audio, it's a little different because you're not subject to the elements. I mean, you don't really want to cheap stuff either, but it all depends on what you're doing, I guess. And I don't know. There's one thing I've learned coming from a car audio style background, where that was my thing back when stereos were popular. Big car stereos were popular. I used to have the big subs and all that. That was my thing, and I used to think that was going to be my chosen career path. But then they started passing all these laws that says you can't have loud stereos anymore. I'm like, yeah, that's going to be a bad career choice if I choose that. So I decided to get away from it. But I've learned that car audio and motorcycle audio are very different animals. I've made a lot of mistakes when I started my motorcycle audio adventure, and I still ain't happy with it, but I'm tired of messing with it. I've figured a few things out along the way. There is a lot of physics that you cannot overcome on a motorcycle once you start going a certain speed. So no matter what you try to do, no matter how many, because I've got a ton of speakers and different things out there where I've replaced them over and over and over again, trying to find better and get some better sound. And it just doesn't matter what you do at any speakers that are behind you at a certain speed, you're not going to hear them anymore. Because if you think about it, I seen a video about it, and it makes perfect sense. I never really thought of it that way, but if you think about it, the speakers are behind you. And the way a speaker works is it moves air. Well, when you get to going 80 miles an hour, the vibrations in the air are coming out, and you're literally going faster. You're leaving the shit behind you. You can't. There's no way you're going to hear it. No matter what you do. Like rear speakers are for slow driving or slow riding. You're just not gonna hear them. I still have two 12-inch Surin Vegas I need to put in my truck. I got 10-inch Fosgates in there now, and Fosgates all the way around. My truck has 6x9s in the front doors and 6.5s in the back doors, which I thought was weird, but okay. It used to be always was the bigger speakers was in the back, and the little speakers were in the front. I don't really understand the concept of what made them do that, but and in the F-150s they got the pods on the front posts or whatever, front windshield deals, and yeah, they got tweeters up there. I'm gonna replace all of them with Surin Vegas stuff. I got a new Surin Vega amp to power in the vehicle upper range, and I got new subs. But I gotta put a lift kit in the back. I have to lift the back seat 1.5 inches because the speakers won't fit underneath the seats. But they make an F-150 rear seat lift kit, and I ordered it. I can't remember the name of the companies. I think it was out of Texas that fab these things, and they're all powder coated, and it comes with all the bolts and stuff you need to replace, and the lift kit was very nice. I have to say, I haven't used it yet to make sure it functions, and I bought it 4 years ago, so I think I'm a little out of my return range if it doesn't work. But it's been in my closet for 3 years. I just have not had the time to go build me a new box. I always prefer if I can build my own boxes over purchasing one, because when you buy one, they don't take any of your actual speaker specifications, and they don't take that into consideration whenever they build these stock truck boxes or whatever. And you need to match your box to the speakers you're going to put in them. You go through your, I think it's pronounced Thiel small parameters, and there's a lot of programs, apps, and different things where you can enter that in there, and it'll tell you about the optimum box size, and if it's big enough, if you can port it, and how long your port needs to be. Smaller boxes always need to be sealed. I've had better luck with ported boxes. I started out all the time using sealed boxes. Once I figured out how to go in and make sure your dimensions and you size it right and you tune your port correctly, I've had much, much better luck with ported boxes. I never liked the wafting sound that of air, like the air that comes out of a port, but there are ways that you can mitigate that. The best box I ever built was like a box inside of a box, and I tuned the ports and had the ports firing into like exterior box, kind of, and it turned out fantastic. I had 2 10s, and dude, nobody believed me they were 10s. Everybody says, no way, those are 15s. I don't believe you. You guys show me, and all this, because it was loud. And it was awesome. I miss that vehicle. I'll tell you what, Eagle Talons and Mitsubishi Eclipses with the hatchback, those are fantastic vehicles to put stereos in. Anything that's a hatchback, really. Hatchbacks just rule. The old Camaro style, old Mustang style hatchbacks, like the Eclipse, that had the hatchback. Those are fantastic for putting stereos in. We're doing all right, redneck side. How about yourself? I was only on for a little bit earlier. On your show earlier, I had to jump out and run outside because it was going to rain again, and I had the generator out. I'm trying to run the generator through its break-in period prior to going camping with it, so that I don't have to worry about that. When you do the break-in, you can't really run it under a heavy load or anything. So I'm trying to run it through its paces and all that before I take it out. Then I could change the oil. Oh, dude, I hear all the time cars going down a road that sounds like somebody was shaking a rattle can, and I hate that. I'm like, dude, you ever heard of dynamite? That drives me nuts. I used egg crate foam in one of the vehicles I had stuffed in behind a bunch of the panels, and I realized what a bad idea that was after I did it, because egg crate foam is extremely flammable. So that's probably not a good idea. But it worked well. It made my hatch heavy, though, that when I went to put the hatch up, it was really heavy, but I didn't hardly put anything in there. I had back seats if I needed to put food or anything back there, but I would open the hatch and drop the food in on the back seats. It's a little bit easier because it was a coupe, 2-door. I decided to try my hand at buying a kind of off-brand generator, and it seems to be working good. It's running well. I plugged a few things into it. Doesn't say anything about the longevity of it. It says after my initial, it only says you only have to break it in for 5 hours, which I thought was a little small, but because a lot of generators are longer than that. It says as soon as you're done with the break-in and you change the oil, I can put full synthetic in it. So I'm going to run full synthetic in it. Because I want it to last a long time, man. Long time. If you want your anything to last a long time, when you get it, or if you get it with low miles, put synthetic oil in it. Only run synthetic oil. AMSOIL is better, but if you can't get AMSOIL, get some kind of synthetic oil. It will make your vehicles last longer. I'm a staunch advocate of synthetic oils, even though it is not truly synthetic. It is still just oil. And despite the old wives' tale that you cannot mix synthetic oil with regular oil, that's bullshit. You can if you have to. You don't really want to because it defeats the purpose of using it. But if you have to, you can mix them. It's not going to hurt anything. It'll get you home. You could run it for a while if you have to. But there's it's not going to gunk up. It's not going to gel up. The only thing that gels up is if you get the new .5 brake fluid. If you get regular brake fluid and that silicon-based .5 mixed together, that will gel up and get snotty and nasty, and you're going to have a bad time. So don't do that. What's up, Mrs. Lee? Mrs. Lee Lance, how you doing? Glad you stopped in. Appreciate you. We're really not doing a whole hell of a lot today. It's like last week. We're not really getting a whole lot. Hey, Evil Rick. Wondering where he's at. Thanks for stopping in. My hands, I still got crud under my hands. I changed my oil earlier. I got a little overexposed. You can't see from the lights. That's cool, though. But I got crud under my fingernails and working man's hands. Ever since I figured out how to do a lot of my own stuff on my bike, now I insist on doing all my own stuff. I like learning now. I did my own clutches last year. It's the first time I did clutches. Clutches are easy. It's just messy. It is very messy. But clutches are not difficult to do. It's still up in the air if I like the clutches I put in. I'm not too sure yet. I put in one of them extra plate clutches where it takes the place of your spring and gives you an extra plate to put in, a friction plate, and you put that in there. And I'm up in the air about it. It is a little harder pull, but I'm a big guy. It doesn't bother me. But it doesn't really seem much different than a regular clutch. It doesn't really seem like it grabs better. It doesn't seem like it does anything better, really. I could have put a regular stock clutch back in, and I don't think it would have made any difference. But then again, you know, most of them, like clutches, anything that's not a standard clutch is for bikes that are beefed up mainly. My bike is not beefed up. I haven't had the money to do that. So I have not really beefed it up at all. I put a lot of cosmetic stuff on it. I put new mufflers on it. I put new exhaust manifold that was all blacked out on it. I put new stainless steel oil lines on it. Stainless steel outside. I know some people bitch that they rub into things and rub through things, but I made sure they're not in the way of anything. Not had any issues. I've dressed my bike up a lot, but I haven't done. I want to do cams, but I'm not sure. I don't think you can really do cams on a higher mileage bike. My bike's getting up there. It's in I think it's just above 40,000 miles now, and I don't think you want to put cams in it at 40,000 miles unless I redo the. If I put a big bore kit in it, which I might do, then I can redo the cams and put a little bit bigger cams in it. But you got to have money for that. Originally, that my plan with my tax return this year, originally, that was a plan. I was going to beef my bike up some, but I decided to use it as a down payment on a camper instead, because that's always been something I've always wanted and I've never had, is a camper. And now I've got one. And I do like it. There is a few, it's used, so there's a few quirks that I got to work out. But you'll get that with anything. Let's see. What motor's on my bike? I got the 96 cubic inch. I believe it was. Yeah, 2008. I wanted to put 110 kit in it because who is it? I think it's S&S makes a great 110 kit. That's basically a drop-in 110 kit, and you don't really have to do anything. I mean, you got to assemble it, but you don't even have to take your motor off your bike to do it. Probably be easier if you did, but you don't have to split the crank or anything like that for that kit. You don't, and you don't have to port it or anything. I mean, it does say it'll work a lot better if you get your heads ported, but I tried to find a like a junkyard 103 that I could put on the workbench and rebuild it because my Dyna and my Ultra both have the same engine, the same 96 cubic inch. I think it's there's two engines. There's the A and the B, and the soft tail style that has a separate oil tank. That's, I can't remember if it was A or B. I think that's the B engine, and then the A engine is the one with the regular oil dipstick down in, and it has the different oil setup. And so I need the Ultra Dyna style, not the soft tail style engine. Some of you guys that are from southern states might come across a lot of wrecked bikes, motorcycle engines. Eventually, when I get some money, I'd like to get an engine that I could put on the bench and work on. Then if anything goes wrong with my Dyno or my Ultra, I can swap engines out and rebuild, have one on the bench and rebuild that one. And then I'll always have one to put in rotation. I've seen they have some 107 kits too that are pretty same style. They're the same like kind of drop-in kits that you can get for the to make it a 107, but they're almost the same price as a 110 kit. So I kind of don't see why spend that much money for a 107 kit when you might as well just jump up to a 110 kit. At least that's the way I've seen it. I got a fat ass, and I need something a little stouter to pull my fat ass around. Especially when I get my old lady on the back, too, man. My bike's like, ugh. I swear, every time we get on, I hear it go, ugh. You could put the 110 kit on a 96 cubic inch or a 103. The 103 and the 96 cubic inch are basically the same engine. Stumble on your words a little bit more. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they said the bore size is almost identical. Even though you wouldn't think that. I can't remember what it is. They said the stroke's a little longer or something. I am not internal combustion engines are not my specialty, although I've made attempts to learn it, and I am working on it. That's why I say I would really like to get a separate engine that I could work on the bench. I could learn everything to do everything appropriately. I bought a bunch of online classes on how to. I typically respond fairly well to that kind of stuff, and some books about rebuilding and building the V-twin. I have not had a Milwaukee 8. I've ridden one for a test ride. Just last summer was my first time I've ever ridden on a Milwaukee 8. Not a bad engine. Doesn't seem like it. I haven't worked on them. I think that's the biggest difference. The cam sets are cheaper, though, because it's only got one cam as opposed to the twin cam, which had two cams. Hence why it's called a twin cam. But I also have done a lot of research, and once you put the 110 kit in and switch the cams out, there's a lot of things you can do and a lot of money you could spend that will only net you a couple of horsepower here, a couple of horsepower there, a couple of horsepower here, and huge amounts of money. So putting the big bore kit in and the cams is really the only thing that's going to net you big gains. If I can get up around, once you get around 100, 110 horsepower, every step above that is a bunch of money. And I'm not trying to do that, man. Anybody that's ever ridden with a club knows you beat the fuck out of your bike, man. You just do. You beat the living shit out of it. And I don't want to sink a ton of money into something that I'm going to fucking cry when it blows up. So I'm just trying to get something a little heftier to lug my fat butt around. So I'm not trying to race or outperform anybody. There's almost no way I can make my old 96 cubic inch outperform one of the newer, even stock 117s. Just not happening. Made 110 horsepower with stock cams. No shit. I'll have to look into that. That's pretty damn good. I had an old friend of mine that swore by the Woods 222 cams. He said those are just the greatest thing since sliced bread. He says if you put that in a stock 103 engine, the 103 can almost keep up with any of the newer bikes. He swore by it, and I seen him race people with his bike, and he had that Woods 222 cam in his, and he used to whoop a lot of people, man. He used to do real well, but when it comes to racing, a lot of it's the person more so than the bike, and a lot to some extent. What's up, Black Dragon? You decided to stop in and say hi. That's awesome, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. I just hopped on today and I'm mumbling about random motorcycle parts that I'm wishing to get and what I've done on my own motorcycle. And yeah, pretty good. Are you how many people that's on here is going to try to make it to Mike's party and on the 4th of July weekend? Because I still say we should. Let me know if you think it's a good idea. I think we should get a Cash App or I don't want to say GoFundMe because they take a decent chunk of money, or we want to take up a collection for the party, and what we'll use it for is if we get enough money, I want to rent a pig roaster. Unless BD's got one, hell, he's got almost everything else. But up here in Ohio, you can rent a pig roaster for one price. They'll usually provide you the roaster, and if you pay enough money, they'll give you a pig. And I would like to take up a collection and be able to have a pig roast. And if we have more money than that, we can all pitch in and go get use it for fireworks or something cool. And we're going to have a good time. I'm going, regardless of whether any of the rest of you go or not. But I'd really like a lot of you to come, man. I really would. I'd love to see all of you. I will try to be the responsible one and keep Mike from shooting himself in the face with some fireworks. Oh, I can't say that on air. I really don't talk a whole lot of even club stuff because of the simple fact I can give you real generic things. I cannot. My club is a particular one that's very secretive, and I am not permitted to say anything about it on air, and I won't. And there may come a day whenever they come to me and say, "HardWire, you got to quit making your show." And I kind of expect that to happen eventually. And if they do, I'll still be in like BD's chat and Mike's chat saying hi to people, but I won't have my show anymore. because if it comes to club or show, this is a hobby for me. I enjoy doing it. Yeah, I'm going. I mean, that's the same day I went to visit him last year, and this year I it, I did it on a whim. I didn't have it planned. I had nothing. Just one day I said, "Hey, Mike, I'm gonna come down," and then the next day I went because I had a day off work for the 4th of July, and I said, "You know what? I got 4 days off. Piss it, I'm going to Alabama." So we drove all the way down to Alabama on the 4th of July weekend last year, not last weekend, last year, and had a good time. And I want to do it. I'm going to do it again this year, unless I'm hurt or something, which God forbid doesn't happen. All right, redneck side. If I could figure out how to send everybody over to you when I'm done, I will do that. You got to go to YouTube Studio. You'll have to forgive me because Mike sent me a thing explaining it, and I didn't get a chance to read it. I'm telling you what, and if BD, if you're still on here, you can attest to this. When you're in a motorcycle club, it's hard to find time to do any of your own things because they keep you busy. They keep you busy. They want you doing this, do that, do this, do that. Organize this, organize that. Come up with some ideas for flyers, come up with some ideas for shirts. It's just never ending. And you're like, hey, I'd really like a little bit of time of my own to get some of my own projects done. They're like, sorry about your luck. Yeah, that sucks, but it happens, you know. Does anybody happen to know how to do it? I'm looking at YouTube Studio. And hey, it says I'm live. Who knew? Did any of you know HardWire was live right now? Right now on YouTube. Wow, you all should watch that guy. I heard he's an asshole. So be careful what you say to him. This isn't a very substantive show today. I will come at you with some better stuff here soon. It's been so busy lately. Everybody's getting ready for the season to start. Everybody's got to get their oil changes in, check their tires, check the pressure in their tires. Don't forget to do that this beginning of this year. Check your tires. Very, very important. Very overlooked thing. As simple as making sure you have the correct pressure in your tire. And remember, don't always fill it up to the max. Leave it a little below where the max is. Depending upon the temperature outside of your home. You know, if you're in an area like I am in Ohio where the temperature fluctuates a lot, leave it a little under the max pressure, because when you get out riding, your tires will warm up and your pressure will go up. I never realized how much that was until I put a monitor on my older one that tells me what the pressure is. And as soon as I get to flying around and boogieing up and down the road, my tire pressure was shooting way up. And I would never thought it went up that much, but it does. It does go up a good bit. Don't forget to change your oil if you're due for your oil change. Or if you're like me and you have seasons, I change mine in the beginning of every season. Make sure sure you inflate your old lady and make sure she is ready for riding season. I wanted to get one of them shirts. Have you ever seen one of them shirts? I think they have it on Amazon. It's a biker shirt and it has targets on the two targets on the back. It says "Place boobs here." Yeah, I wanted to get one of them. It's funny when you go riding. You ever take a chick for a ride and you start doing the old hit the brakes thing to push them, smash them up against you, so you can get closer. Yeah, that was before I was married. I used to do that all the time. Now my old lady pretty much knows. She's always like glued to me anyway. She likes to be. It's good. It's all right. I don't mind it so much. Unless it's really, really stinking hot out and I'm sweating like a motherfucker. And when you go to separate each other, you go kind of go, yeah, no, I don't like that at all. Like, lean back, need air. Yeah, I don't know that I'm gonna figure this redirect thing out. We'll try. When he's not on yet. Hardwire, he's not even on yet. Quit worrying about it. But I got an aftermarket thing that monitors your wheel pressure because I didn't have them back when my bike was made. I'm gonna have to see if they got any of the ones you could put inside the tires. I'm sure they have them because that would be way more convenient. The first one I put on, they were the valve stem cap ones, and they do work. Don't get me wrong, but on some bikes, if you have the wrong valve stem, when you screw that cap on, especially on your back tire, when it comes around, it'll smack your brakes. So I had to put a 90 on it and then put that damn little thing on it, and then to keep it the centripetal force from spinning it, I zip tied it to one of my I don't know what the hell it's called. It's like not spoke, but like one of the legs of the mag wheel there. I zip tied it to that, and it works. Doesn't move. Functional. Oh, Glare, you're leaving. Man, don't do that. Show's almost over. We're only going to be on here for maybe 10 more minutes. You don't leave yet. Come on, man. Come on, man. Redneck side, I'm going to try to figure out how to redirect to you here as soon as you're on. You're not on yet. I'm looking. When you go on, I'll try to send everybody over there. The whole 2 people or so that's on here. Yeah, Beezer, give him hell. We see how you are, man. Here to hang out and you don't want to hang out with us. But I did find that, I'll take a second to give my comment on all that stuff that BD reported on with the down in Florida with the Mongols and the Phoenix Warlocks. That looks bad for everybody when you do things like that. It brings heat on all clubs because then because that's the kind of thing that's very bad. You don't want to do that. You want to handle your business away from people. Don't do that kind of stuff, man. Just don't. That looks like hell. It brings heat on everybody. I understand that things happen. Okay, they do. Things happen, and you never know when they're going to happen. I don't know the whole deal that happened, what was said that started it. But man, I'll bet you anything that situation could have been easily diffused before it got as far as it did. It's a shame. That's a shame. I hate hearing when things like that happen. because that looks bad for everyone. I think Lee said he's going to come. Maybe he'll bring his old lady to Mike's party. I don't. That's I took a left turn there. Hold on. To Mike's party. I think Lee said he's going to come to the party and have a good time with us. If he can get time off or whatever. I've got a week of vacation that I got to take at a certain time coming up. Be taking my camper, and then I still have enough that I can put in some time to get off to go down to Mike's in Alabama. I already told everybody in that club that, hey, I'm going to Alabama for the 4th of July. I'm not going to be around. And they said, okay, thanks for letting us know in advance. Got it all planned. I don't have the party planning done. Not a good party planner. Might want to have somebody designate that to somebody. Mike, you're not on, but if you see this, find one of these fellers in the chat that are really good at, and designate authority and put somebody in charge of planning the party. Up here, they got them. They'll bring out a little trailer, and you could rent it. And they got that axe throwing. That's fun when you're drunk or high. Just don't throw them at each other, man. You can't do that. Take turns. I suck at it. I always wanted to learn to be good at throwing knives and stuff. I'm gonna get one of them, a big piece of plywood, and set it up out back and paint a target on it one of these days and go out and try to get it where I can consistently stick the damn thing. I have not had good luck with it. SNS and America Uncensored. Right on. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. I know it's not at the regular time. Everybody probably was looking for me at 2:00, but we had the phones was all going off, and they said a bunch of severe storms was coming, 80-mile-an-hour winds. It's a regular thing around here for us to get false warnings. So when the day comes, something bad happens around here, people are probably it's not going to go well. I mean, like it ever goes well. It's not going to be a good thing because everybody around here gets so many false alarms that they basically kind of don't pay attention anymore, which is bad. It seems like every time they give us some kind of a warning around here the last couple of years, it's like, I don't see shit. And nothing happened. Nothing happened. I didn't see Carney in here today. Or Mike. I could ask either one of them how to make this happen. They probably could have told me. I think when he goes live, it'll pop up on my stream thing here saying he's live, and I think I might be able to click on it. And go over there. Send everybody over there. Not 100% sure on that one. It's been a rough day for me. It was a long night last night. Anybody that's in a club, have you ever went to a function and all of a sudden, it's turned into a impromptu meeting and somebody is in trouble, so you're there forever because you gotta wait until it's done. It's like, good Lord, I was not planning on being here this long, and it was a long night. But it is what it is. It's all part of the deal, but it doesn't feel very good at the time. Well, we're gonna think of some fun stuff to do when we go to Mike's. We're gonna have a pig roast. We're gonna have, hopefully, we can have a pig roast and fireworks. Uh, we'll have to set. Uh, we Mike or myself or whoever Mike can designate to be in charge of being the party planner can set up a cash app, and we'll all chip in and start throwing money in for the party. Hopefully we can raise enough to rent a pig roaster and buy a pig and have a cookout, pig roast, and we could let off fireworks and I could maybe bring down some of my guns and we can have some target practice. I got a bunch, so it's not a big deal. Oh, I can bring them down. I do my research before I carry multi-state, but you can travel from here where I'm at in Ohio all the way down to Alabama through all constitutional carry states. So I don't have too much to worry about as far as bringing them down there. And I know Mike's got a few, and we could have some target practice for funsies before we start getting drunk. Nobody should be handling firearms all shit-faced. That's not a good idea. I've already seen before where, and several of the clubs I've been around, they have lock boxes, and if you're going to drink, they make you lock your gun up. If you're not drinking, you can carry it, but if you're planning on drinking, you put your gun in the box and it's getting locked until you're sober, which is not necessarily a bad thing by all means. Oh, I got like Cards Against Humanity and stuff like that, but that's hard to play for if we end up having a bunch of people. I got like giant yard Yahtzee. I bought at one point in time a few years ago, I thought I was going to start like getting the kids to like have some backyard parties and play some games and different things. And it just never materialized. I bought all them games and half of them have only been used once or maybe half of a time, never really used. And yeah, it sucks when it happens. I'm particularly known to be impulsive buyer. And I will spend money on things that never get used. I've got a welder sitting upstairs that I still have in the box that I've had sitting up there in the box for 2 years because I want to start getting it out. I want to put it in the garage and get to welding on some stuff. But again, time. I haven't had time to do it. I need to run 220 out there to really weld anything decent or substantial. Well, you can be the designated butcher. Butcher. You can be the designated meat chopper. I have a funny finger. See that? I'm missing a chunk thanks to a lock blade that didn't stay locked. I opened it and it had a button instead of the cheapy way of locking it, but the button was right where your thumb's at. And I did the dumbass thing and I started trying to like push real hard and pry a little bit, and I hit the button by accident and it scissored the end of my side of my finger, the whole side of my finger off. I didn't take it that bad. You know, at first I was like, ugh. You know, you're kind of in shock when it first happens. It's like, oh, what the hell did I just do? And I reached down and picked up the little chunk and set it back on my finger. And I said, give me a piece of speaker wire or something. I wrapped it around my finger to try to get the bleeding to stop. And the dude that was helping me out almost passed out. He's like, oh my gosh, dude, you chopped the end of your finger off. And I'm like, hey, I'll be all right. It's just a finger. I got more. So I kind of wrapped a speaker wire around my finger to act as like a little tourniquet, and I pulled it tight and had somebody drive me over to the hospital, and they said, yeah, you're not gonna, it's not enough for your finger to worry about trying to put back on. So they pulled it back off. They said it'll be more hassle than it's worth to try to get it to grow back together. And then they said they wanted me to see an orthopedic surgeon or something because it was close to the bone, or they could see bone in there or something. And I didn't. I'm like, I'm not paying some guy to play with my finger. It's just a finger. As long as nothing's like needs stitches or anything, I will just put a Band-Aid on my boo-boo and go about my day. I'm not particularly concerned with it, you know. How do I see? That's just showing me my lives. I am jumping around as to what I am talking about a lot, like not trying to confuse anybody. I have ADHD or something. My mind is typically all over the place. If anybody knows how to tell me to redirect people, let me know, and I'm gonna try to do that if I can figure it out on the fly here. Don't mind me. I'm looking at my other screen trying to see if I can figure out how to do it. But I doubt I can do this on the fly. Because you don't want to watch me staring at my screen like a dumbass. Details, analytics. We don't want to delete it. Actions. No, not delete. Let me edit it. Yeah, I don't see how to do it. Does anybody know how to redirect? I was telling you last week about the story with my brother running a damn dado blade through his hand. But that didn't feel good at all. But I haven't talked to him about it for years. It's funny how that goes with your family. It's like, I almost forgot that it had ever happened. And for some reason it popped in my head. Okay, at the risk of trying not to look like a retard. Sorry. I mean, at the risk of trying not to look like an idiot, I will just end the show and tell you to go over to Redneck Side because I cannot figure out how to do this redirect thing. But as soon as I get off the air, I will read Mike's thing that explained this, and I'll figure it out so that next week, if I need to redirect somebody, I'll know how to do it. I'll take a few minutes here and figure it out, but I won't do it I won't make you suffer by staring at my ugly mug while I figure it out. I will thank everybody that stopped by today. I'm glad you did, and it's always wonderful seeing everybody in the family on a Sunday, since we don't have it's Mike's day off today. And when you see him tomorrow, give him hell. Give him hell for not stopping by and at least saying hi. I'm going to have to get with him and plan, help or talk to him about the party, and if he wants to do the half of this stuff I'm trying to say that we should do, because he is not what was I saying? He has not really said anything. Like if he agrees that we should like collect some money and have a pig roast or anything. S&S for you must not. Oh, you do have a ranch. S&S for you must not. I hear an echo. I hear an echo. It's me. I should have a conversation with myself. Nothing out of the ordinary. Okay, at any rate, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, IWN family. You guys rock. And I will see you in the chat on Monday on Mike's show. My camera's retarded. Much love, honor, and respect. Love y'all. Thank you. God bless. And I will see you. I will see you on this show next week. I'll see you on Mike's show during the week and BD's show. Everybody stop and show BD some love. Tell him to stay healthy. Having some issues. I don't know if it's his blood sugar or what. He tries not to talk about it much, but it sucks when you see him on the air and he looks like he's about to pass out. There's my redneck side motorcycle whip made for me. Oh, and a wire that I accidentally grabbed. Awesome stuff he makes. Love it. He's an awesome guy too. What a nice small, family business there. Show him some love. Go over there. He's live. And I'll see you next week. Love y'all. Much love, honor, and respect. Bye.
Hittin' it with HardWire, we're burning it bright. Living on the edge, we'll ride through the night. No fear in our hearts, just the roar of the steel. Together we rise, now this life feels real. Yeah, held a new path on that twisted black line. A YouTube dream where his past can't confine. With every rev, he's reclaiming his soul, teaching the world how to ride, how to roll. Rising up high when the shadows surround.